So do you want the good news first or the bad?
Bad.
You're dying.
I'll get my affairs in order.
Oh, hey.
Hi.
Look at you, friends. Welcome to How Are You Now, the podcast where we talk about everything Letterkenny related. From Shorzy's chirps to McMurray's questionable behavior, we're the toughest podcast in Letterkenny, and we're here to talk about everything that makes this show a cult classic. So grab a puppers and get ready for some hicks, skids, hockey players, and Glenn sometimes. So, Tiara, how are you now?
Good, and you?
Oh, just having a lot of fun. So much fun. Fun being busy.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Good.
Because of stuff I'm busy with. So yeah, doing all
good.
right.
That's good.
I'm doing all right.
I feel very busy and very tired.
Oh yeah?
I'm not used to that. Well, no, that's not true. I'm used to being tired because I have chronic fatigue syndrome. I'm not used to being tired because I'm working again.
Yeah. So far away from me.
I know, that's the hardest part of all of this. Like, I'm very much used to being able to eat whenever I want, whatever's in my fridge or whatever, and doing work whenever my brain is like capable of doing it. And but I subbed for a couple days this week, and it was so absolutely perfect. Like it felt like I hadn't been gone for 2 years. And the place where I subbed, they were like, please tell me that you're going to work here. You're going to be our permanent sub. And I'm like, no, I'm opening up a classroom at another building. And they're like, oh, you're going to be so good. Thank you. So that was my week.
Making sure you don't leave.
Yeah. I'm not sure how it all works though, since I was a travel teacher. I'm through an agency, so I don't know if that means that next year it'll be the same kind of contract or if the district itself can offer me one or something. So I have to find that out.
Yeah. So one of the things I'm going to bring up, and when we have our guest on, we'll probably talk about that a little bit more, but just to let everybody know, right now coming mid-May, I think we're going to have a rehearsal on the 16th, and we're going to have live on May 23rd. For our next table read,
yes,
which will be We Don't Fight at Weddings. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Lots of people. I don't know. How many?
Too many. I don't know.
There's a lot of them.
I haven't looked at the cast list in a minute. I think I sent one out for that one.
That's okay. But yeah, we'll have a script at that point in time. I mean, we have a transcript, but it needs to be dolled up. Yeah.
Needs to be zhuzhed up.
So yeah, this is the last episode of the season for season 11. So yeah. So maybe we should get into it, but a few things to tidy up first. If you hadn't heard in the first 5 episodes, we have a new number. It's 503-487-2789, which spells 50 Fit Party, because I always have to look up something the way something is spelled. And we got a promo here. Let's see, make sure I have it on the thing. Where is it? Yeah, there it is right there. So let's do this promo and then we'll get into the show.
Sundays at 3 a.m. It's The Fuss with Hank and Jess on Letterkenny's own 97.1 CGNU. Good new radio? We're not so bad.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and those beyond the binary, it is my pleasure to introduce our special guest today. She is a longtime friend of the show and an expert on all things Letterkenny. She has narrated most of our table reads, provided us with scripts, and is the main moderator for the Letterkenny subreddit. Above all, she is one of the sweetest and most respected members of the Letterkenny community. So let's give Auntie Awesome a warm welcome and prepare to be schooled by her Letterkenny prowess. Make some noise. You ready to drop some serious wisdom bombs there, Awesome?
Only always.
Oh my God, I love you. I didn't see that before. Professional opinion haver. That's so perfect.
She has one She has one or two.
Just one or two.
What you been up to?
I am in my knit all the things era.
Oh,
Yeah, I've got a bunch of gifts I'm making and expanding my repertoire as far as knitting goes. So picking up some new skills and polishing up some old ones.
very nice.
Wait, yeah, my husband's been giving me the side eye about how much yarn I have acquired lately. I have to work through my stash, or else I might be getting served some papers.
Well, yeah, you gotta make sure. Gotta
Yeah.
keep everybody happy.
Yeah.
When husband asks for help, you help him.
Yeah.
In my brain, I was going, happy wife, happy life.
It's a balance. It's a balance.
Yes.
Just
it
a
is.
bit. Just a bit. We were just talking about the table reads, and this one's gonna be a doozy.
Yeah, especially with all those cuts from the Mad Libs cold open. Fucking
It'll be scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, scene 4,
Yeah,
scene 5.
it's really it's funny.
I mean, I'm gonna have to establish where each of them are, but then I think I'm
right.
just gonna write out cut,
Yeah.
cut. Because otherwise, I'm just gonna be talking the entire time, and nobody else is ever gonna say anything.
Yeah, I mean, if we were to say, it would be the same thing with this episode for the very end.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
yeah, so I will be kind of taking your part on that as I go through the recap. So, but yeah, last week we had our good bud David Mack, who has written the script that's coming after we don't fight at weddings.
Mhm.
But yeah, we had him on for influenzas last week, which was a blast. It was as he kind of said, it was not the most important of episodes, but it did have the beginning of the Jivin Pete stuff.
I mean, I would argue that the Jivin Pete storyline started in Lost Dog.
With the Lost Dog, yeah, but then it picked up. This is like really where it picked up. I mean, had they just done the Lost Dog and them Katie kicking him in the nuts, that could have easily been it.
Right.
But then they I think with influenzas, they decided to build that story up and then complete it and what's going on today. So let me quickly go through the episode here. Season 11, episode 6, our deep dive into Degens. Wayne, Derry, and Squirrely Dan are having a chat about smoking darts and their enjoyment of them. They discuss how some people try to tell them that smoking darts is bad for them and how they should not like it. And but they don't agree with that sentiment. They reminisce about some of the great darts they've had over the years, including the first dart Derry ever had after sex. They also talk about the context in which they've enjoyed these darts and how it can influence their experience. The scene ends with Wayne reflecting on the fact that people should not judge others for enjoying something that they themselves may not like. From there, we scene 1, we're in the kitchen, and the group is discussing Jivin Pete and his work performance.
You're late, bud. You're late, bud. You're late, bud. You're late, bud. Bill, I hate to kill a man. It's fucking barley.
It's fucking barley. So that was a little quick cutaway to Wayne's mind of everything that's gone on with Jivin Pete. Derry then admits that he wouldn't have hired him in the first place. The conversation then turns to Katie's new Doc Martens, with the boys making her fun of her for being that guy, making suggestions that she's trying to start a punk band, what have you. Katie defends her fashion choice, stating that docs are timeless, never go out of style. Katie does agree that one time she was trying to be that guy.
I mean, it's like the time I wanted to get cat eye glasses, but I didn't want to be that guy. Same with bangs. Oh my God. Should I get bangs?
Yes. You should get bangs.
It's not the right time.
Should I get bangs? Dudes don't get bangs. Wayne has bangs.
Wayne does.
He definitely does. And Katie cuts his hair.
So the conversation then turns to Wayne squinting, and Katie insists that he needs to go see the optometrist, which Dan calls the optomal myth. Wayne brushes off the suggestion and continues to make fun of Katie's fashion choices. From there, we cut to the optometrist, where Wayne is visiting there, getting his eyes checked. He has asked Dr. McDavid, asked about Dr. McDavid, and is then asked about which one he means, the Dr. McDavid, the grandfather, or the Dr. McDavid, the father. This is the young Dr. McDavid who's now running the business. Wayne asked the younger Dr. McDavid about his eyesight. Dr. McDavid jokes that Wayne is dying, as you heard at the top, before telling him that there's no bad news. And some people with his vision just gets glasses while some don't. Wayne thanks her and mentions that he'll save a buck. Dr. McDavid then suggests applying Wayne's prescription to a stylish pair of sunglasses if the sun ever bothers him. Wayne looks interested. From there, we cut to the produce stand. Wayne is wearing his new blade style sunglasses.
Vipers, they're fun.
So Katie and the boys tease him about his new shades.
You look like you're about to rip a Tour de France.
Look like Lance Armstrong if he did even more steroids.
You look like the guy who's going to say something racist into camera at a live on-location news broadcast.
From there, the conversation turns to Jivin Pete, who's always late, smells like alcohol and marijuana. Wayne expresses sympathy for Jivin's struggles with meth addiction and ultimately agrees it may be time to cut him loose. Squirrely Dan, who can't shut up about feminist beliefs, is ridiculed by Katie. Modine's, the group is gathered when Riley announces that it's his birthday week and he wants to celebrate it with everyone. Rosie and Gail tease him for being the kind of person that makes a big deal out of their birthday. Meanwhile, Squirrely Dan proudly declares himself a feminist and gets some ribbing from the group for being too preachy about it. Jonesy explains to that the Degens have been causing problems again, and a birthday party might just be what they all need. The group reluctantly agrees to attend Riley's party. Anik arrives, reminding everyone that that being late is unacceptable. If you're 10 minutes, unless you're 10 minutes early, you're late. Gail brings up the Quebecois trend of men wearing top ponies and nubbins, which Gary turns into the name of the new idea, nubbin. From there, we're in the barn. Wayne confronts a sleeping Jivin Pete about his lack of productivity and reliability on the farm. Despite his initial attempts to help Jivin Pete, Wayne recognizes work ethic is slowing down the production and suggests he take some time to get all his issues sorted out. Jivin Pete becomes increasingly upset, thinking Wayne is firing him. Wayne does not say he's firing him, but Jivin Pete storms off angrily. From there, we're at the produce stand / end of the laneway. Rold and Stewart ride up and inform Wayne that Jivin has been spreading lies about him, calling Wayne's friends fags. McMurray and his wife also then pull up and tell Wayne that Jivin Pete has come to their house, claiming that Wayne and his friends saying that Wayne and his friends wanted to sleep with Mrs. McMurray. Which the Skids and the McMurray say, we know you'd never say that. So, but then Katie arrives with Derry and Dan. Katie says that Jivin was talking about Wayne in the parking lot. Wayne remains silent throughout the conversation, but eventually breaks his silence.
Well, that's the difference between a friend and a pal. A pal will listen to someone talk shit about you. A friend won't hear a second of it.
Squirrely Dan adds the Degens are back, to which Derry responds without questioning how they're going to fuck this pig. From there, Modine's. Derry's new top knot hairstyle is mocked by all of his friends and the others at the bar, including Anik, Rosie, and Gail. The Skids pretend to defend him, claiming it's good to be known for something. The Skids themselves are known for the unique style, such as Stewart's bowler hat and Rold's bandana. In the end, they tell him that he shouldn't be that guy for wearing a top knot. Squirrely Dan wants to know something about Gail.
Hey, Gales, what guys are you?
In town this size?
Yeah.
The black guy.
So Katie and Derry exchange playful insults, with Derry mocking her Doc Martens and Katie jokingly suggesting he's no Jon Snow. Squirrely Dan is asked about his hat, but not given a chance to answer, as Rosie dismisses the question immediately. From then, we're at the Degen house, where Wayne is pulled up and has a verbal confrontation with Jivin Pete. Wayne tells Jivin that he needs to take responsibility for what he did and that he's not leaving and gets some sort of resolution. Jivin Pete argues that he's worked hard every day for 20 years of his life and that Wayne is the real problem. Wayne mentions that Jivin Pete has upset a lot of people in town, but Jivin Pete dismisses it. Jivin tells Wayne that he'll prove himself and Wayne should go gather his friends so they can sort things out. And finally, we get to the final scene in which we need.
We're gonna need a montage. Ooh, it takes a montage.
All right.
We need a montage. In this final scene, the show cuts back and forth between two events happening simultaneously. First, the people at Modine's are setting up for Riley's birthday party and enjoying themselves. Meanwhile, Wayne is traveling around town to gather up his crew to go fight the Degens. Once they arrive at the Degen house, they waste no time immediately beat up all the Degens. The scene then cuts back to Modine's, where everyone is partying with Riley. After the fight, Katie, Wayne, Darry, and Squirrely Dan return to the produce stand, where they all relax with the puppers and a cigarette. End credits. So, let me bring my four things up, and then I'll let y'all go at it.
We all know it's going to mostly be awesome. Like,
Awesome's got
honestly, awesome. I was doing my stuff today, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop.
Awesome has
I've
all
got
the
enough.
notes.
Yeah, you've probably got everything.
She writes a Cliff's notes after every episode.
Fucking
So
love
anyway, my thoughts on this are, I think this is all something we want to know. Is why did the Hicks not go to the birthday party?
Yes, I absolutely.
And also just let people like what they fucking like.
Right.
You don't give them shit for it.
Is that a theme for the whole season? Because I
It's
feel like
quite
that has
often.
come up a
It is
lot.
quite often the theme throughout the series. But yeah, I think this season in particular, it's brought up more. Number one, I agree with Rosie that you can be a feminist without wearing it as your personality. Like, you know, there's lots of people who wear things as their personality. There's a lot of military people who that's all their personality is being ex-military. And I'm ex-military. I don't bring it up like that. And then what prompted the Degens to start fucking around again? They hadn't been fucking around in a while. Oh, and it looks like we got a post out here. Was it an acting choice or can Joel Gagne just not take off a shirt?
You know, I had a question about the shirts too, but it's a slightly different one.
All right.
But that's a good question.
Yeah, I think Joel he likes to take his stuff off him, and
He's probably got
Yeah,
it
it's
written
in his
contract.
contract. He's got to get it off.
At least once a season, he has to get half naked on screen.
that's how it works. So yeah,
What's the point?
yeah.
Yeah.
So what do y'all got?
Well, do you want to discuss the things that you brought up?
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so why do you
That's
think?
usually how we do this.
So well, yeah, man. Well, I was trying to get through them quickly.
I know.
But yeah, why did the Hicks not go to the birthday party? I mean, I'm sure
Because Wayne just did something he had been trying to avoid doing the entire episode, and he wasn't in the mood to go to some revelry about it. Like,
good. And you, Don?
I get that perspective, but I feel disappointed that they didn't go.
I mean, that's
because I completely agree with Riley and
because
Jonesy.
they've
that
quite
a lot of
often
shit's happened.
they've quite often had fights and ended up back at
Yep.
Modine's without an issue.
It's happened often.
And
So,
this
I
is
mean-
not the first time they've fought the Degens.
no, but this is the first time that Wayne has had to give up on a friend whom he was trying to help.
Okay, well, that's a good thought. All right.
You know, like Pete literally came with his hat in his hand into his house
Yeah.
and asked him for help. And Wayne did his best to help this guy who was his friend, but his friend was just not willing to put the effort in. So Wayne's got to deal with his behavior. And it is his responsibility now because he's the one who hired him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Wayne and Dan and his feminist hat. And I mean, I know he's mentioned being a feminist before, but this is like the first time he's really kind of tried to personify
Yeah.
that whole.
I mean, that in purposely personify it. Like
Yeah.
he for a while now, he's kind of worn that as like his name badge. Like, I am Squirrely Dan and I'm a feminist. Like that's what it feels like he's often saying. It's not what he says, but
It's
how, you know.
it's
Getting
Professor
offended,
Trisha.
yes, but it's getting offended on behalf of people, which
Yeah.
for me personally is a huge pet peeve. Like I fucking hate it so much. I'm sure it goes against some weird autism thing in my brain because I like get violently angry when I think of somebody like taking on like anyway. That's
Ask your question, Don. Go ahead. And yeah, and my other thing was what prompted the Degens to start fucking around again, not just Wayne, but
I think they figured out that that working was it was harder than they thought it was going to be. That like trying to, you know, not be Degens, they would have to actually do the thing every day and keep going back, which as someone who didn't work for 2 years can definitely say after 5 days, holy crap, am I really getting up again tomorrow to work? But like, I feel like that is where it was, where they all just kind of gave up. Like he got offended because he didn't want to do it anymore. And it was like, this is how I'm going to make sure that I don't have to do it and save face. Because, you know, I don't know about anybody else, but it did not seem that Pete was at all invested.
It did seem so with Katie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just because he honks and hollers at girls.
Mm-hmm.
But Don has a question. Watching Wingman Wayne the other day, Jivin Pete's daughter is in it. Pete doesn't look old enough to have one that age. He said age. Yeah, that's what he was saying.
How old was she?
She was
at least
old enough to be in the
18.
bar, so at least 19.
Well, I mean, I'm trying not to get vulgar, but like, bodies that are not the ones that carry the baby can make a baby as soon as they start like coming, essentially, and that's like 12, 13. So yeah, I mean, as a degen, it would make sense if he had a baby, you know, got someone pregnant when he was young.
Also,
like, that's how I would think about that.
Also, nobody has ages,
right?
In Letterkenny.
Also, but that also brings up like today in the episode where the optometrist, or Wayne said that, you know, he didn't think she was because she looked so young, and she was like, you know, well, people get a certain age, everyone looks young.
Yeah.
And like that just totally struck me because you know, we've
like,
been with him for a while.
Yeah.
He's not 25.
Yeah.
So yeah, Don says I know he's a degen, but it hit me as a continuity issue.
Could be.
Yeah, I mean,
they may not have really thought that they were going to bring a full character of Jivin Pete to the surface. Instead of just being a degen, we've now like had some episodes where we know more about him and like the things that he does. So it may have been that they just didn't expect it to be someone who was probably in his late 30s.
Way early on. So that was that first season or second season?
That was the first season. Wingman Wayne is series 1, episode 4.
Yeah.
I love that you just know that. Even my special interest stuff, I cannot recall like that. It's amazing.
I mean, this is my special interest stuff.
Oh yes, we know. Anything Kiso.
Okay, we got another comment out here. Oh,
I love this.
No, I don't know what he's saying. Oh, Adrian had a question about. So I had the same quandary when we see him in Modine's too. I think that was a question regarding his question about.
Regarding
about
Gagne at the age thing. Yeah.
Oh wait, no.
No, that's because
about Joel Gagne taking off his shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I think this is more.
Yeah, because he came in right at the same time as Don started. So
okay.
But anyway, but yeah, I think that's it's so Jeremy Baramy, timey wimey in Letterkenny. So I mean, maybe this happened 10 years down the line, or maybe first season happened 10 years further forward. Who knows?
Well, I mean, I have some thoughts on that.
I mean, it's not. I mean, it wouldn't be unbelievable necessarily, but
No, not at all.
all right. What else? So yeah, that's those are the things I got. What else y'all got?
Oh, so much. Okay. I do want to preface this with it's not my favorite episode. This season was not my favorite season, but probably like this was definitely not my favorite ending at all to a season. Like I understand, a lot of this stuff happened in COVID, and so that made things different and all that, but just it felt more like they were shoving what they're saying down our throats this time instead of just alluding to it or dancing around it. So it kind of changed the tone a little bit for me. But I what's the word I'm trying to say? My my own story in my head, my truth. That they mentioned Tanis quitting smoking because Tanis was pregnant while they were, or Kenito was. Please say it for me.
Kenito.
Kenito was pregnant during this time period, and they probably, because a lot of her storylines revolve around cigarettes, and so maybe they were like, oh, she's gonna quit in future seasons, or not gonna be smoking in future seasons, so we should mention that.
I mean, she
which
was
may be true, but
she was pregnant in 2019, so she'd already had her kid.
well, I know she was breastfeeding while they were filming, so
yeah.
I would assume that was all encompassing there with that. But the other thing about that whole scene, mostly regarding like cigarettes, I know they had to have gotten a lot of shit about smoking on screen so much, especially when Hulu picked him up, because I know that was something Hulu was trying to lessen before Letterkenny got on their roster.
Yeah.
So I wonder if this was like Kisa and Tierney going, just let us do the thing. It works for our characters and leave it alone. It doesn't have any deeper meaning to it.
Well, one of the things is like, so I keep having to make this point on the sub. Hulu does not own Letterkenny. They have no creative control over Letterkenny whatsoever. And yet on the sub, people do comment frequently about not necessarily the smoking, but the throwing the butts all over the place.
Oh yeah. I never really actually thought about that. Yeah, they're constantly just like flicking it off into the distance.
Yeah. But no, once this scene did come up, people were like, why would you have a scene glorifying smoking? And I'm like, these characters, we're 11 series in.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you suddenly clutching your pearls now about them hacking darts?
Right. It's been talked about and shown over and over and over and over again. And like that's what I felt that part was.
We're bored with a fag in one hand and a beer in the other. Like,
right. Although I do have to say that like the direction and cinematography in this, I love the way there was like the movements were at the same time, or they were completely at opposite times, like hand going up while hand going down. And
syncopated.
Like thank you. I love that. I love it. Wayne realizing his joke wasn't funny. So good.
Harkens back to the
Florida Seminole vesicles.
Florida State Seminole vesicles.
But this time, instead of kind of getting upset that they didn't laugh, he was like, well, that one didn't hit.
Guess
like,
not.
I feel like he's, he's matured in his humor where he's like, okay, fine, that one didn't work. Let's move on. Instead of getting upset about it, which is huge growth for somebody sometimes.
Yeah. Especially my poor little goober son just wants to be funny and nobody's giving him an inch.
Like, damn it, I thought I was okay, fine.
He's already learned that it's tough sledding up there for a comedian.
True story.
Oh
yeah, and I highlighted, you said the words, Wayne reflecting on the fact that people should not judge others for enjoying something that they themselves may not like. And I'm like, oh, that was the whole season.
Yeah. I mean, the tropes throughout the season, yeah.
Doc Martens. I have 3 pair. What does that make me?
I've got 2. We're that couple.
I guess so. No, I agree.
I don't agree. It's glorifying smoking. They're saying they enjoy it, so they keep doing it while pointing out other addictions that are culturally acceptable, i.e. the internets.
Agreed.
However, I need the internets because I work over the internet. So.
True, and I need it too because there is no like curriculum for. I mean, there is curriculum, but it's not all encompassing for what I do. So I need to pull shit together sometimes. Let's see. Oh, the interaction, bale of hay could kill a man. It's fucking barley.
Yeah.
Like that was Wayne, like finally losing it a little bit with him and getting like a little angry. I love
fucking barley.
Fucking barley.
So I'm curious how many times they had to shoot that for they had to have choreographed it.
Oh yeah.
So I would be interested to know how many times they shot that just to get it right.
Well, Weston Brink, sorry. Dan Skeen is the stunt coordinator. And he usually comes in and does his stuff in a pretty short period of time. Like in series 1, they did all the fight scenes for series 1 in one day, and they choreographed them on the spot.
Wow. Okay.
Well, this is a little bit different in that once you let go of a bale of hay or barley, as it is.
Yeah, it's got
you don't have a lot of control over it after it leaves you. So it's just something that I was just curious about.
And I just want to say those are half bales. They're not full bales.
Okay.
Those are full bales. I grew up on a ranch. So those are full bales, like we would also always bale. I mean, they're not rolls, which we would do those as well, but yeah, those were full bales that I could see.
I'm
Those
just
are
gonna
like
sit here, born and raised in a city. I don't know shit. I'm a cityite.
If he's just hucking them around like that, then like,
oh yeah, that's how you get it.
Superman under there.
No, that's what you do. I mean, that's how you get them where they're going.
He used to do it. Where am I? There we go. It's really hard. I have to point to the bathroom to get to point to Dean.
Because my head's full of shit.
Wayne does have bangs.
Yes.
Wayne definitely has bangs.
He's always had bangs.
Right?
And again, I am convinced that Katie cuts his hair on the back porch of their house because he won't go into town and get it done.
I would believe it. Like that, it's too much work to go and just cut it. Just
too much fuss.
I bet he doesn't even really look in the mirror all that much.
She's just running a number 3 over his head and then trimming his bangs.
Doing kegels over there.
Oh God, that was so funny.
That was the best joke the whole show.
Which makes me wonder: does Wayne know what kegels are?
That's a good question. Although he did change the conversation very quick when he felt like he was the one getting attacked. So,
yeah.
And that was with Derry defending Wayne squinting, as if like, oh, no, you can't say that he needs glasses. I think he's fine.
What the fuck,
he
Derry?
says he's fine. Oh my God.
No. I think his sight is perfect. Like, how the fuck would you know anyway?
That wasn't a criticism. It was literally, you are squinting. You should see if it's your eyes.
Has Derry become has Derry become Bonnie from season 1?
Oh gosh. Oh.
Woo. I'm not touching that.
Yeah, not with the 10-foot barge pole.
Wayne does look like a baseball player, in my opinion. Like that's what, like when he first was sitting down with those glasses, like I imagine like a major league pitcher, like Randy Johnson.
Yeah.
You know? Like that was what I was imagining.
Because a little sidetrack. Do any of you have a hard time saying the last name Johnson anymore now that Tyler Johnston we've known for so long? It's because I will quite often find myself pronouncing the last name Johnson as Johnston.
Oh no, I have not run into that difficulty.
No,
it just happens sometimes with me now.
Not surprised.
It's kind of like earworms with me; they just stick there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here's my soapbox. I 100% support birthday week or
Yes,
month.
agreed.
Anything that brings you joy is worth it. Don't be a shit to someone who just needs serotonin. Anyway, and I say that as someone who absolutely has a birthday week every fucking year
Yep.
because that means I'm still fucking alive. So, yeah. Thank you.
There you go.
Now the top knot.
Now the top knot. Oh no, baby.
Yeah.
Speaking of, why does Gail talk about nubbins and make it seem like she's into that if she isn't trying to get Derry to do that?
Yeah, it
Oh no, I
definitely
think she's
seemed like
definitely getting him to do it just so he'll make a dick of himself.
right.
Right. Like, I wonder if it's written that way. Like, I don't feel like Lisa Codrington is playing it that way necessarily because either that or Gail
She
is a
did-
really good actress.
She did keep looking to that end of the bar, but I mean that
Yeah.
could have just been looking at the general area of Derry and Dan. I kind of want to think that she was looking at Derry to kind of,
Right.
make that stick to him, because once you give Derry an idea, he's just gonna ruminate on.
Mhm.
Yeah. He takes a while to get there, but he gets there in the end. And you can't, once you do get a thought into that thick ass skull he's got, you're gonna have a hell of a time dislodging it.
Yep.
You know, because it's got
What it
momentum
takes
now.
is Anik saying something, then it'll
Well,
dislodge immediately.
You look
That's
like
one
all
of the
my
things I
cousins.
was wondering is like he's been like semi flirting with Anik the whole series.
Yeah.
And like
Oh, yeah.
even when he just said hello to her, Katie like leaned over and snapped in his face, like, come on,
Yeah.
if she cheats,
She
it's
did
over.
though. Like, I think she was flirting with him too. Like, the
Oh,
way
she
said,
was, and that's why
"Oh, you
Katie was
do."
all like, don't do the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So I think what if Gail's like trying to push Daryl into doing something so that everyone like comes down on him like a ton of bricks and is like, no, we've been over this. This is why you don't go back to that.
Do you think Gail wants Derry?
I think Gail wants everybody she can
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
get.
I don't mean like she would get
Uh,
with anybody. I mean, do we think that she likes Derry?
I don't, not for as a partner. I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
It
think
seems like she
any-
does a lot of the things to like she kind of gets him to do a lot of things that aren't favorable to the rest of the team.
Right. I think she enjoys putting him in those situations.
Adrian says,
it-
I was disappointed when Derry said last season, I'm getting out of my barn clothes to go back to Anik. I was hoping it was Bonnie personally. Yeah, you know what?
I don't see him
mean,
with Bonnie. I feel
was a
like is out
point-
of his league.
There was a
but
point in time.
yes.
But Bonnie is far surpassed Derry
Yeah.
or really anybody else.
Yeah. She's too
I
good
don't
for
know. I
anybody
still
at
like them
Letterkenny.
together. I think they're cute.
I don't know. Derry's starting to kind of turn into an asshole.
Yeah.
He really is. I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like he's coming almost like he's becoming the guy version of Katie, which,
Yeah.
Katie hates everything. And, she's always trying to poo-poo something. And now this one, which is like, she's trying to,
Embrace something,
embrace
yeah.
something. And then, maybe it's, they're like there's yin and yang of
Like a
who's
seesaw?
going to be the asshole this week.
Yeah, I'd believe that.
Yeah, that's why I definitely do not ship them, though. That's just never gonna
Yeah.
happen.
No, they're opposite sides of the same coin, I think.
Yeah, I definitely I can't see at least any of the regular players being a match for Bonnie. Like, one, it has to be someone who can put McMurray in his place, because otherwise McMurray would be like towering over that relationship, I feel like.
Oof. McMurray would be all up in that mix.
Yeah, that's why it needs to be somebody like somebody who's not Derry, definitely. Derry
Yeah.
would not be able to stand
Yeah.
up to him like that.
For Katie, I think the only person nearby would be Jim Degens. Jim is a
I could
good
see
guy.
that. He is a good guy.
Eh.
Although, Bonnie with Jim could be interesting. And she was like, when he was
Either one of them, yeah.
when he was saying, you know,
woman.
if
Yeah.
he had done the thing that, you know,
Right.
he would gratefully let a woman cut off his
Yeah.
stuff.
genitals,
And she's like,
thank her for the kindness.
and thank her for the kindness. There's people like that left. Like she was
There
kind of
are.
turned
So,
on by that.
honestly, yeah, I think I would prefer a Bonnie Jim relationship than, because Katie she gets really rough sometimes, and I don't think
Yeah.
I think for the kind of guy that Jim is, he doesn't deserve that.
The thing is, Katie gets bitchy when she's impatient, and
Which is all
she
the
gets
time.
impatient. Well, she gets impatient with people who act like dumbasses.
Well, and
She's
now
kind of mean to some people just to be mean
so
to them.
Riley going when she was just gonna date Riley and kept sending him to the store for candies, and he went back, he got a whole bag of candies that she wanted back, and then she sends him back. No, I wanted the gummies or whatever it was. So she's an asshole sometimes. I mean, just to be an asshole.
I mean,
You
I
can't
don't know.
deny
I
it.
feel like after being with her for that long, he really should have known what kind of sour candies she likes.
Well, he brought because he had brought them just little bags at a time. Then when because obviously Jonesy's the smarter of the two of them. I mean, it's a low bar, but it's I mean, he said just buy, because he had been buying her the candies, and then he says just buy her a big bag that you can put in the jar. And so he
she
bought
changed what she wanted.
So he brought back the same bag of the ones that he'd been bringing her already, and then she switched it up on him. So that's
It's not saying that this is bad. It's saying that this is who she is. Like the last there's been very little niceness between her and the rest of the Hicks other than her brother. She's constantly like
she even
putting
gets
down or picking on nitpicking or
she was
whatever
even getting
on
at
both of
Wayne in
them.
this episode about being too soft.
Yeah.
I think that's more her being his moral compass again. He's like, no, we have these principles and you need to follow them.
Except he was the one that was holding on to his principles of trying to be the nice guy, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had to convince her that, when a friend asks for help, you help them.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, yeah, you're right.
But there's also, their whole work ethic value. Oh, yeah. And there's a balance there, too. It's like, give him a chance. Because remember, she was the one who is getting on Derry about not giving Jivin Pete a second chance in the kitchen.
Yeah. Yep.
So she's, firmly on board with that agenda. But when she checks in with Wayne and finds out that Jivin Pete's been fucking up, she's like, well, you can't tolerate that. And if you let him do it, he's just going to keep doing it and walk all over you.
Yeah. And there's one place where you can't be slacking.
It's
labors.
Yeah.
That's right. Except for labors.
Yeah, I feel like Jivin Pete's response to Wayne saying you need to shape up or ship out wasn't it wasn't equal. It wasn't his reaction was not equal to what was being said to him.
It was disproportionate.
Yeah, disproportionate. Thank you. And I think that's why I think like he wanted to get fired, and so he was like, just fucking fire me and I'll just walk away.
I think he's super. I think he's just super sensitive. He's
definitely
he's definitely insecure.
Oh yeah.
And so I think instead, when you're super insecure and you have drug and alcohol problems, it would be easier just to make it a fight.
Yeah.
Than actually sort it out in a good way.
Yeah, it becomes a self-fulfilling story, like that you tell yourself that it's not your fault, if only someone would give you a chance, and yet here's Wayne giving him a chance, but it's still not good enough for Pete.
Yeah.
My whole thing is like, Pete says he puts his heart and soul into that job, and I'm like, dude, it's just choring.
Yeah.
Put your heart and soul into it. My left take.
That's
he follows the pattern of like, he does what addicts do. Like, I'm not surprised.
He's like a fucking toddler.
Yeah. And
So,
so,
yeah.
he blames Wayne for his own shortcomings and gets mad at Wayne when he won't put up with his shit. And Wayne's like, look, I'm trying to help you out, but you've got to. How many times do you reach out to somebody before if they won't, turn their shit around?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
Wayne even makes a point of like, I did not say I was firing you.
Yeah.
You
And
need to
yeah,
take your time.
it's like when he makes it there to the Degen house,
Yeah.
and Pete's like, the only one seems to have a problem here is you. Yeah, well, he's the only one that's making any fucking sense. The rest of you are goddamn Degens.
Yes. And frankly, Stuart deserves a bit of a smack for selling to Pete anyway. Fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wayne
so Adrian
literally
says
woke
Wayne-
Pete up to have that conversation. Exactly, Adrian. Thank you.
He kicked that bale of hay.
Like, how many fucking second chances do you give a man, right? Because, like, every time Pete showed up drunk or hungover, could have fired
Yep.
him. Every
Yep.
time he toked up at work, could have fired him.
I mean, just for
we
being
find
late.
him literally sleeping on the job.
Yep.
Yeah.
What more do you want? I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's it's a bit much. So he definitely needs to sort himself out. And maybe who knows, maybe that's what it's going to come to at some point, that he's going to end up really, maybe he's going to go to rehab. That's one of the things that I was
hoping he would.
We were talking about the potential of Stuart enrolled going to rehab as well.
Mm.
Well, I mean, Stuart's already been to rehab, albeit for the dark web rather than for, like NA or whatever.
The dark web. But yeah, to cut out all the snooters.
They were doing snooters in today's episode.
Yeah, they were.
So okay, moving on a little bit to so when the McMurrays got there, I love how confused they were about why Wayne wasn't doing the normal call and response, so that McMurray and Mrs. McMurray had to do it with each other, and they got it right.
Yeah, like between the two of them, they did.
But also, and I asked Dean this question in one of the watch throughs that we did, but I'm really curious what you think. Why are the McMurrays upset that someone wants to fuck Mrs. McMurray? I feel like they would, be like, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, no, and they're into that. In the Halloween episode, McMurray is suspicious of his farm hands, so he leaves the walkie-talkie in there. And he
forgot about
catches
that.
the farmhands talking shit about. Anyway, I think it's one thing, right? If like that's your kink and you negotiate with somebody.
True, very true.
Yep.
To bring them into your kink, that's one thing. But like, just randos saying they want to fuck your missus.
Yeah.
And he was significantly upset about, the callers during
the ag halt. Yeah, it was just not ag halt, Kraken ag.
But yeah, at the very end there, where she says, if you want it.
Yeah,
right.
And then,
that was what we said.
And McMurray looks over and kind of nods.
Yeah.
If Wayne had said something to them, that would have been fine. But
McMurray would love for Wayne to be his bull. He really would.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
McMurray,
that's all I know.
He's not that way, but if he was, it probably would be Wayne.
I mean, think about the Letterkenny Leave episode where he's going on about cuckoldry and how intensely into it he is, and how he's like specifically emphasizes that the true relationship is between the bull and the cuckold. And it's like, McMurray's hot for Wayne.
That's one time down Dominican Way.
Oh boy.
Calling the Skids a Clockwork Orange was
oh god,
masterful. It was so. Whoever wrote that line, I kind of want to kiss him right on the mouth.
And why did they get offended by that?
I don't think they got offended. I think they were more like, oh, everyone knows. Like, I didn't know anybody watched that movie.
They kind of did a pearl clutch in there for a second there.
Well,
How dare you say I'm biting someone else's style?
yeah. But it's very true.
I mean,
They're just missing the eye makeup
pretty much
Right.
the eyelash.
and the white
I mean,
underwear.
Gail
outside.
would put up a naked titty statue that drips milk in her bar.
Oh yeah, that's true.
She would do that.
Speaking of the skids, I love that the skids were helping set up for the party.
Yeah,
It
that was
it
cute.
didn't make it better that the Hicks didn't come to the party, but it like showed that the skids were at least accepted enough into this group that they literally were helping set up for the thing that was
Yeah.
for the group.
And the sign said "Happy Birthday Week."
Right. And Rosie was right there while they were
Yep.
doing it, so obviously like she even was like okay with the week.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Finally. And then back to Tyson and JB taking off their shirts. What happens to all the shirts that they just take off? Like, I'm sure they're not in the exact same place every time. So when they take their shirt off and throw it and go run into the back of the truck, do they like? Is there some service that goes around? It's like, oh, their t-shirts again, and like picks them up and takes it to their home later.
They have what do they call it for burlesque shows?
Tearaway.
The person who goes out.
Oh, kitten.
The cat, yeah. They have a
Stage kitten.
They have a stage kitten that goes around and collects their clothes.
I like that.
It's probably
I like
me and
that.
Sophia.
Yes. Okay, and then the last thing that I have before, but let's just let Awesome take hold. I loved the editing in the fight at the end, where every hit
With
was
the
in
music.
time with the music. The like shit. It felt like I was watching Wizard of Oz and listening to Pink Floyd. Like
Yes.
it was
Okay.
so good. It was so good. So that was a lot of the stuff that I liked the most was the editing and the small things, but overall still not really my favorite episode. But
Adrian says that Sally Ann has
Very
a very full t-shirt department. Yeah.
Oh, good shot, Adrian.
oh yeah.
Oh,
All right, hit me, Awesome. You always catch all the things I don't.
okay. So, the whole blinking, squinting, Wayne going to get his eyes checked, etc. For some reason, on the sub, people chose to interpret that as Wayne's got lung cancer.
What?
Because they had the whole conversation about how much they enjoyed darts, and Wayne got real emotional, right? And if you notice, he doesn't actually volunteer his favorite dart memory. He keeps
couldn't
that to
think of
himself.
one.
There's
He
so
thought they were-
many.
Yeah, just having a dart is always a great thing for
But
Wayne.
but at
Okay,
the
so-
at the end of the cold open, he says one's just as good as the next.
Yeah.
So anyway, like, okay, I know this and you know this. Let me get
Yeah.
through this because this
Okay.
is
Okay.
convoluted ass
I don't go on the
motherfucking shit.
Reddit because it scares me.
No, save yourself. I'm throwing myself on this grenade for you because I love you.
I appreciate
So,
that.
the conversation with the darts where Wayne got all emotional, and then the joke of the optometrist where she says you're dying, and he says I'll get my affairs in order. People have chosen to interpret that as foreshadowing
My God.
that Wayne has lung cancer and the show's gonna end.
How
and
did he
I'm
get
like,
to lung cancer though? Just because he was smoking?
Yes.
Okay. You know there are other things that you can get from smoking. Like you can get mouth cancer, you can get
Emphysema,
esophageal cancer,
But the-
bronchitis.
But
Right?
like I've been talking about all season, this
COPD.
is a season full of tropes,
Yeah.
including the standard Letterkenny tropes, which is Wayne, squinting
Yes.
as he has forever. So that's always
But he's
been a
been
thing.
doing it more. So he should go to the doctor.
To the
Just
point where Katie comments on it.
Yeah, I think the
But if you
issue is
haven't- if you are a grown ass adult and you have not been to the optometrist since you were in first grade, at least go and get your damn eyes checked because there are things other than your vision that they check you there.
Yeah, like
But yeah.
glaucoma and shit.
Right?
yeah, but but it was kind of mentioned also by the optometrist is that when you're getting old, when you become a certain age,
Mhm.
Everyone
so
looks young.
that's a comment on him growing up, him being older now.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And a couple weeks ago, you guys were revisiting the subject of how old all the characters were
Right.
when the show
Mhm.
kicks off. Wayne can't be more than 23 or 24. Maybe.
No way.
Right? And he's
No
being
way.
played by a 30-year-old man who
Right?
fucking
There's
looks
no way.
30 years old. Who's all filled out and broad.
Yeah, he
and shit.
does not. Yeah, well, he does not look 23
Wait,
at all.
but look, if you assume that Wayne started kindergarten at 5 and graduated at 17 the summer before he turned 18, then
He's
you know, if he
38,
didn't,
by the way.
Keith,
38.
yeah,
Keith,
now he's gonna be 39 in July.
Yep.
But yeah, no, if you assume that he didn't skip or repeat any grades and graduated when he was 17, right before he turned 18, then add 5 years for his relationship with Angie, he cannot be more than like 23, going on 24.
Oh, at the beginning of
Well,
yeah.
season 1.
It doesn't
Yeah.
say how long they've been broken up, does it? They just
Yeah,
said she was your
Because
sweetie for
it's
5
been
years.
almost a month
At it?
since
Okay.
you
Yeah,
found
yeah.
Angie stepping out on you.
But we also don't know how much time there was between things. I mean, we could say
Right.
he was 23 when they started,
Yeah,
but
Right. And it's been, what season are we in?
11.
11.
So that's what? So like 6 years, 7 years, if you count COVID
7.
stuff.
Yeah.
7 years. Okay. So like, even if we're going that every season is a Letterkenny year, which I don't think, I feel like
No,
each
1 and
season
2
is just
are
kinda-
yeah, series 1 and 2 take place over the same summer. Series 3 is the first winter we see, and that makes 1 year.
Okay.
all right.
So
But that means that it's
yeah.
winter the same year. How
Yeah.
do we know that?
Yeah, could be that season
be
3
later.
had a couple of winters later.
no, because that's when he starts his relationship with Rosie. You're gonna seriously look in my face and tell me he waited 2 years to start a relationship with Rosie?
Wayne is very slow to get into a relationship.
Yes, I know that.
So I could see him waiting 2 years. Maybe they've
I
just
don't-
been hanging out. I don't know.
I don't think anybody would wait around that long. Let me
For
put it to you
Wayne,
that way.
you would wait 5 years for Wayne.
That is true.
If I knew there was definitely something on the horizon, maybe. Like, no, get real. Nobody. I mean, at the end of series 2, we see, Rosie for the first. We meet Rosie for the first time, and then
Right.
in the beginning of series 3, they're hanging out and going sledding together and starting to date.
Yeah.
So, and there's the whole Tannis pregnancy scare thing too. So,
Right. Yeah.
like clearly those two follow one after another.
Yeah. So the We Don't Fight at Weddings was like when Wayne and Tannis were about to kick things off. Episode.
That was series
after
5.
he'd
That was
broken up
after.
with
Yes,
Rosie
that was
and-
5. Yeah. So we don't because and We Don't Fight at Weddings. He says that they're going to give it the old college try, and I
Yeah.
think the next episode was the old college try. Is that correct or not?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he asked her to be his plus one,
Mm-hmm.
and then they tried dating, and that did not work
Right.
for a whole bunch of reasons.
But that was the at the end of that season, wasn't that where she said, she was pregnant?
No,
Okay.
No.
All right.
that was
Maybe
series 2.
Okay.
Because the end is Rosie gets out of her truck and Wayne meets her for the first time. Then
Oh, right.
Angie comes up
Okay.
to him and
Yep.
says,
I remember it now.
And then
So-
Tannis calls and says, I'm pregnant. Oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I remember now. Sometimes it takes a little bit of push to get that memory to come back.
Yeah.
Again, we don't have the recall that we do. That's why it's so great having you on, because I'm just like, yeah, I know you're right. So I'm just gonna listen.
Excuse me.
It's time for the tea.
All right. What else you got?
What you
Okay.
got?
Let's see.
What you got?
So you'll be surprised to know that I am actually shooting from the hip for this episode.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I want to talk a little bit about Wayne as the toughest guy in Letterkenny, right?
Mhm.
Like, that is a job. That is his job, right? And
It's your job.
it's your job.
It's your job.
And the thing about being the toughest guy in Letterkenny is it's a social function, right? He oh yes, thank you, Aaron. I love you.
Aaron called her awesome.
Whoa.
Called awesome. So yeah.
And we love you, Aaron.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
But like the work that he gets for being the toughest guy in Letterkenny is the reward in and of itself for him, right? Like the duties of the toughest guy in Letterkenny is the whole point for him. And because he is the toughest guy in Letterkenny, people bring him the problems that they either can't or won't solve. Things that aren't big enough to get, the official people involved in, but things that still need a community leader to deal with. He looks to the edges in his community and fills in the cracks to make sure that people don't fall through them. And that heavily influences his ethos of if a friend asks for help, you help them, because he can't let people fall through the cracks. That would be anathema to him.
Yeah.
So when Pete comes, and like I said earlier, literally hat in hand and asks for help, of course Wayne has to help him, right? And he does his best, and Pete's just not putting in the work. And again and again and again, he fucks up. And, you can only help someone if they are willing to help themselves. You can't clean up for someone. You can't get straight for someone. They have to do it for themselves. And when he has that first confrontation with Pete and Pete goes off, and then the McMurrays and the Skids come up to the farm and tell Wayne what's going on. What they are doing is they are appealing to Wayne to do his job as the toughest guy in Letterkenny. And it's literally his responsibility, not just as the toughest guy in Letterkenny, but as the guy who employs Pete. It is his responsibility to clean up this mess that Jivin Pete has been going around town and causing. So,
but I do like the statement that where Dan and Derry tried to do something about it.
Yeah.
And
there's the difference between a friend and a pal. A pal will listen to someone talking shit about you, and a friend won't hear a second of it. Yeah.
Right.
And like, as the toughest guy in Letterkenny, he has to go clean up the mess that the Degens are making, because they're causing people in the town to be upset. Like, it's not just they're talking shit about Wayne, they are causing like social discord.
Right.
And it's Wayne's job to ensure that that doesn't happen, or if it does happen, he has to go correct it.
Right.
So, when he goes to Pete's place, he's still looking for a third way. He doesn't want to he doesn't want to be part of Pete's self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Because Pete's all like, good thing I'm just some degen from up country. And it's like, well, you don't have to be. You weren't always. You used to be part of our community.
Yeah.
You did this to yourself. You can undo it.
He was a real good guy.
I mean, so like, Pete's telling himself this story that, he's just hard done by and nobody will give him a chance. And, he's just a degen from up country. So of course,
pity party.
Yeah. And Wayne's like, you don't have to do this. He's still looking for a way to do right by Pete and do right by the rest of the town.
Mhm.
But Pete forces him to choose, and of course Wayne is going to choose the town. Like he can't choose anything else. Because he
True.
wouldn't be the toughest guy in Letterkenny, and he wouldn't be Wayne if he chose something else.
True.
You're
So-
so good. None of that would have occurred to me. That's awesome. Awesome.
Thank you. I mean,
That's awesome.
yeah. I'm gonna have my own sound effects soon. But
Get your
yeah, no,
theme song.
Wayne has been avoiding kicking Pete's ass because he knows it would set Pete's recovery back. That's why he doesn't want to do it. But Pete forces his hand. There's no other way around it. Like every option that Wayne comes up with, Pete kind of just shits on it.
Now, based off the question that Wayne had before in Influenzas, where he said, where he was asking Pete if this was rock bottom, maybe this is rock bottom after him basically knocking the shit out of him. You know, do you think this might be the impetus of him actually getting some help?
I don't know. I mean, on average, it takes people 5 to 7 tries to get straight. You know, so I wouldn't be surprised if this was one attempt of many. I mean, I think Katie kicking him in the nuts was a bit of a come to Jesus moment.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's been kicked. I mean, and he's had to fight the Hicks before. So
Right.
this is, I mean, this could be number 5 right here. I mean,
Who knows?
I mean, Katie's kicked him in the nuts. Wayne's beat his ass. He's been.
He was in the melee on the res.
Yeah.
So that's 3, and then this one will be 4.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, it's very depending on the individual, obviously. But yeah, Pete wasn't ready to accept the help that he asked for. So I don't think he's hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ready to do the work required to get straight.
Do you think that they would, not necessarily Jivin Pete, but do you think that Letterkenny would go so far as to have like a death or something like that could wake somebody up?
Well, they had Uncle Eddie's death.
Yeah, but Uncle Eddie's death wasn't a character that we knew.
No, true.
It was just one that had been mentioned. Whereas I don't think we've had a single character die.
No.
So
like there's some stuff to do here with genre convention, and then there's also the fact that the stated philosophy of Letterkenny is to just do it for the laughs, right? Like get as many jokes on the page as possible. This is a comedy. It's not a drama. This is not an after school special.
A lot of comedies have had dramatic things happen in them, though.
I mean, yeah, this is not one to hold, to keep away from pulling at heartstrings. So, whether it's
maybe it's not somebody that we know very well, like it's not Jivin Pete, but it's one of the Degens, and Jivin Pete, like then again comes and says, "Okay, I'm afraid that I'm going to end up like whoever." It could be that we're watching a very slow redemption arc for this character, that they have maybe a plan for something where he does hit rock bottom.
I do kind of wonder though, do we think they really have that many plans for Degens?
I don't know. Why would they have a Degen trying to make himself better?
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting
it's an interesting proposition.
Yeah.
I don't know that I actually see it happening though.
Hey, Timmer. We miss y'all too. Hugs to you and John.
Sorry, Austin.
Yeah, no. Your grandson. But yeah, no, I don't know. I just don't see it happening.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, but it's an interesting thought project
Yes.
to to put some depth to it. I kind of, I'm on the side where it's more, they want to keep it more light than anything.
Yeah.
They may go heavier and Shoresy as the, because
True.
it's a full on story arc. Whereas this, the story arcs are, this one was really just two. I suppose you can give that, 2 seconds where Katie kicks him in the balls, it's two
Well,
in 2
okay,
seconds.
so for all that we don't see him on screen that much in nudes, he's still quite the focus of the episode, and then also in influenzas, you do see him. That's when he does come to Wayne and Katie and ask for help, and presents his arguments for why they should.
And then he does help Katie.
And then he does help Katie. So, his arc has been ongoing for 4 episodes in this series.
That's what makes me think that there are future plans for him. Like,
yeah, there
we
may
should
very well
be starting to feel something for him. We're disappointed that he chose this path.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future he'll come back again.
Perhaps.
I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
I use that line way too much. Being a teacher.
But yeah, so, Wayne, like I said, Wayne was trying to avoid doing the thing, and then when he finally was forced into doing the one thing he did not want to do, of course he doesn't want to go and party down. He's upset that he had to give up on Jivin Pete. So,
yeah.
And of course his friends want to be there with him to commiserate and support him.
Okay.
Because, at one point or another, they all were friends with Jivin Pete too, right?
Mm-hmm.
True. I'm assuming they weren't all Degens all the time. So, yeah.
Right.
All Degens all the time.
It sounds like a radio
promo.
Yeah.
Degen mud wrestling at Gale's on Wednesdays.
Degen mud. I like that.
Who would show up for that though?
If there's money in it, I bet any of them would.
True.
Yeah, McMurray's betting on him.
Yeah.
And Mrs. McMurray's wanting to get in there with him.
Oh, you have to restrain Mrs. Mac from tearing her shirt off and jumping in.
Well, we're not talking about the skids. We're talking about the Degens.
I meant
skids are Degens in a way, but different kind of Degens.
They're acceptable Degens, apparently.
They're not.
Degree.
They're not.
To a degree.
They only hurt themselves. They don't fuck with anybody else.
Yeah, skids have boundaries. Degens don't.
Yeah.
They're
Skids still
smart.
have some morals. They just don't believe in certain laws and stuff.
Sure.
Which, as an autistic person who has a strong sense of injustice, especially when it comes to rules that don't make sense and politics and shit. Yeah, I get that.
Yep. All right, what else you got? Anything else?
Yeah, that's really it. I'm looking forward. Oh, the one other thing is I really feel like 10 and 11 have been a return to form. They felt in tone much more like series 1 and 2.
Okay, yeah. I can see that.
So I have really enjoyed both 10 and 11. I know a lot of people are saying it's not their favorite series, but I'm like, I love it. I think they're at the top of their form. I don't have anything negative to say about this series as a whole. I've got a couple nitpicks about some things. I don't find the whole Dan being so preachy very funny, and I think that's lampooning people who do have sincerely held beliefs that I don't appreciate.
Well, I do think it's like I said, I think it's more of a statement about you can believe all these things and be that person. You can be that person without saying, this is my personality. I'm going to wear this. Yeah. As he is actually wearing it as his
Yeah.
personality. I mean, yeah, you don't need to be that person. Because if you just are a kind, decent person and believe people need to be treated equally, then there you are. You're there.
Yeah. And there is, something to be said for like performative outrage and what have you. My other one little quibble is there is a wrong way to be a feminist. If you're a TERF, get fucked, die in a fire.
Yep.
True.
Mm-hmm.
So there
And
you
you're
go.
not, I mean, if you're a TERF, then you're not a feminist. You're just a turd.
Fair. That's
Right.
fair.
It is
I
hard
will
to
accept
call
that.
someone like that a feminist because it goes against a lot of actual feminism ideas
Right.
to exclude somebody. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
Are
So,
we?
yeah, I'm looking forward to Series 12. Can't wait to see it.
Me too.
Yeah,
But I am definitely looking forward to more Shorzy.
Oh yeah.
without a doubt. But in the
Oh,
meantime,
yep.
as everybody knows, if you ever listened to us once or twice, that Fuck Fight Ferda is our version of Fuck Marry Kill. We don't want to kill anybody, but we do want to fight them. And we're not marrying them. We're just gonna fuck them. So Ferda is just you're being pals. So
You're my buddy.
yeah,
I'll be your pal.
I'll be your buddy, pal.
What are we
I'll
even
be a
doing
pal,
here?
buddy. Oh, get off the keyboard over there, whatever you're doing.
Me?
Yeah, I
What's
think.
happening?
Where's the keyboard? Okay, now it stopped.
Okay.
It was doing.
Yeah, I don't have table space. I put my notebook on it.
Oh. Anyway, as we do, we're going to start off with Wayne.
Wine.
I think we know where.
Awesome.
Where
Yeah.
awesome
You're
is.
gonna fuck him, right?
Yeah, duh.
Ferda for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with the Ferda on this one. Katie.
I was about to say, I really respect what she's trying to do with trying to be the doc guy at in Letterkenny. I feel like that storyline was a little circa 1997, but then again, I was on the West Coast, but anyway,
Yeah.
God damn, I still say Ferda. Like, I love that she's taking care of her brother by making him go to an appointment and stuff, but yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Awesome.
no, I'd fuck Katie. I would always fuck Katie. Seriously.
And I'm kind of leaning fuck. Though I usually don't with Katie, but I am because the whole bangs thing was just too
The
fucking
bangs thing was
was adorable.
Right.
Bangs.
I love how yes,
Not the right
you
time.
should get banged.
I love that. That was the one moment of there that really stood out to me.
Did you guys notice how like delicately they were holding their little crackers and summer
Yes.
The
sausage?
charcuterie.
Yes.
And how slowly like they were anticipating and drawing it out before they took their bite.
Oh yeah, and they were perfectly timed, all at the same distance.
Oh yeah.
Adorbs.
Daniel.
Daniel.
He needs a good stern talking to. Ferda.
Yeah, I'm almost
Yeah.
I'm kind of at I'm in a fight with Daniel here. Yeah, because I totally agree. I mean, shut up. You've been told.
We all know Daniel.
Yeah, we've known for fucking
Yeah.
10 seasons.
It's not like you're it's not like you're subtle or anything.
No.
Right.
Uh,
There's nothing wrong with being a feminist,
no.
but you do not have
I
to
mean, you should-
broadcast it.
you
with
should
everything
be
you
a
do.
feminist.
Yes, everyone
it's-
should be a feminist. There's
it's-
nothing wrong with that.
No.
But like many, many things, don't make it your whole personality.
Yeah. Derry.
Mary needs a friendly dope slap.
Yeah.
So is that a Ferda or is that a fight?
That's a Ferda.
Yeah. I continue to not be sure how I feel about Derry. Like, his character, I love some parts of him and really don't like other parts, and so it's like a constant battle of, do I even like this character? Like, how do I feel here?
Yeah, I'm the same with Dan on this one. I'm fighting Derry.
Yeah.
He's
being a tit.
He's being a piece of shit. He's almost to McMurray level in this episode. But and I kind of almost say that that McMurray's better in this episode than Derry is. But there's only a little bit of McMurray. So Gaylor.
Gail's done nothing wrong. I'll fuck her.
I mean, she kind of set Derry up.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going.
Yeah,
I
I think Derry kind of needs to be. You know how sometimes you have to trip someone up so that they, see what's actually going on right in front of them.
Yeah, I just don't think that that's a way that Daryl's ever going to learn.
I think he's gonna have to hit it instead of someone telling him.
Yeah.
McMurray.
Oh, by the way, that was Ferda for me.
I thought I heard. Yeah.
Cool. McMurray.
McMurray.
Ferda, he's making sure that Wayne knows that someone's talking shit about him, and if he wants to fuck his wife, just tell him. He's ready to be a pal here, man.
I mean, he won't tell me.
He's friends. We're friends here. So Ferda.
Yeah, McMurray's not objectionable in this episode, so Ferda.
Yeah. Mrs. Mac.
Oh, sorry. The yawns apparently have just caught me. Whew.
Cut it out.
As always, even in as little a scene as she was in, like super great comedic timing, and I can't mime it because you don't see anything below like my chest, but
yeah.
She's fantastic. I just love her. I'm still going to say Ferda because she is so chronically drunk. I feel like there couldn't be consent there to my satisfaction.
I think she's a functional drunk.
She's a very functional drunk, but that does not mean that I'm comfortable with that consent.
Understood. Yeah. Maybe if you ask her first thing in the morning.
She's probably still loaded from the night before.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
She has a hangover, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll Ferda Mrs. Mac.
All right. I'm fucking her.
Good for you.
Jivin Pete.
Fight.
Fight.
Fight. Fuck fight. Ferda. Yeah, we're all on the same page here. Stuart.
Ferda. Both him and Roldy, because they were well, I didn't like the way they were completely ridiculously laughing at Derry. Yeah. That was a bit overboard. Like I think it could have been great if it just stayed at, Stuart being like, I'm the bowler hat guy, and Roldy being like, I'm the bandana guy. And if you want to be the top knot guy, be the top knot guy. Just, know that other people are laughing at you instead of being like, oh my God.
That was so hot. So, are y'all? Is everybody Ferda? Awesome.
I'll Ferda roll, but I'll fight Stuart just on principle.
Okay, so that's
legit.
Because I have them separate. So
yeah, that's legit. I'm Ferda for
because Stuart really was the instigator on that one.
Roldy kept it going though. He was the
Roldy kept it going, but Roldy's also such a fucking simp.
Yeah,
yes,
I'm gonna give. I'll give Stuart a stern talking to, but
with the flat of my hand.
So, Roldy, are we all Ferda on that, or
yes?
All right, Riley and Jonesy.
Ferda, I want to go to their birthday party week.
Yeah, I'd Ferda them. They're just beautiful dum-dums. Although I do think it is a bit silly to make your a birthday week. Like, if it was what makes you happy, go on. But like, frankly, just give me a bottle of wine, a loaf of bread, and leave me alone.
That's totally valid. Some people want to celebrate their birthdays, some people don't, and that's okay.
I mean, I don't really celebrate my birthday, but I do take off the entire week.
Mm-hmm. Because you're about to go into the shitty time of the year.
Well, no, it's my birthday and it's Veterans Day, so I
Mhm.
usually right in the same area. So I just kind of grabbed that week.
It's like when I
in
was
that
a kid,
vicinity.
the day between semesters usually ended up giving me a 3-day weekend around my birthday.
And I think I've got Anik. I think
Yeah.
Ferda. She didn't do
Ferda.
anything outstanding. Although I do like that she says that Derry looks like all her cousins with
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
and then he looks so disappointed. Like, I'm pretty sure that right there is exactly what
Yeah.
Gail was aiming for.
Yep. That's another part of what makes me think or makes me wonder if Gail is interested in Derry, because like it felt like she was doing that so that Anik would laugh at him and he would, maybe, give up on Anik, but also like maybe think about her, because she was like, talking about these guys. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she convinced me that she was sleeping with at least a few of them. So anyway.
So did I miss anybody?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think we got them all.
Yeah, there was no Glenn, no Jim, no Rosie. No, there was Rosie.
There was Rosie.
There was Rosie.
Yeah, there was Rosie.
Ferda.
There's somebody else I'm thinking of. I did. Yeah, the optometrist.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what's her nuts that was trying to buy Ritz off Stuart and Rolled in series 4.
Oh, right. The Ritalin. She was
Yeah.
trying to buy Ritalin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm fucking her.
Yeah. Me too, actually. She was cute and funny.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll fuck her. And by the way, fuck Rosie.
Yeah.
I'll fuck her. I'll fuck Rosie.
You'll fuck Rosie too?
Absolutely.
I say Ferda for Rosie because she was kind of a
She
leader
was
in the
not
meanie.
doing anything different than Wayne or Katie has ever done.
I didn't say that. I didn't say it was any different, and I have chosen not to fuck those two on many occasions.
So
That's true.
where are we with Rosie?
Ferda for me.
Ferda. Awesome.
I'm fucking Rosie.
It's sometimes hit or miss with me with Rosie as well. I'm more a fuck Rosie, but not in this instance. So I'm Ferda on there. I'm not fighting her. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I really like how Rosie and Katie are on the same page so frequently.
Well, yeah, and I'm with them, but they don't have to. I'm just tired of being mean about it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be mean about it. I know that, and that's the trope, and that goes back to what I was saying the entire season. It's all about tropes and tropes and tropes. I mean, they hit heavy on them this season, it seems.
I mean, Letterkenny's never been a particularly subtle show either.
No, but this one feels really heavy with it, and maybe it's just because of the amount of time between them, but that it makes it more noticeable. But it really seems to have stuck out in this season.
Well, and like, I don't know. Sometimes it feels like the audience does not pick up on a point from like an earlier episode or an earlier series, and they feel like they have to reiterate their point, but louder.
Yep.
This time, so that people get it.
Could be.
Like, I would love to see a sequel to Hard Right J that was more louder, because I feel like some of the people did not understand the point of that episode.
Agreed. So I think that's everybody now. So final thoughts before we head out.
I very much am looking forward to the next season, because I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the world's not ending all around them while filming.
Right.
So, because that I do feel like that, and maybe it's what affected me, was perceiving it from the now traumatized brain that I have. Like, I'm excited to see what they do to get back to like a normal season.
I know they've just started shooting Shoresy.
Yeah.
Do we know what's going on with season 12?
Not yet.
Okay. All right.
Awesome will know before we do.
Probably. All right. So if there are no final thoughts, Awesome hang out with us a little bit. But we're gonna do an outro. So
Bye.
yeah. Yeah. Where's my stuff? There we go.
Somewhere.
There's my stuff. All right, Maestro, let's go. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of How Are You Now with your favorite groups of Hicks, Skids, hockey players, Christians, and Degens. We hope you enjoyed our chat with Auntie Awesome today, and we look forward to having her back in the future. Join us next week as we welcome the produce stand host, Al Grego, to recap the entire season with us. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a rating or review. So, as we like to say, until next time, keep your head up and don't be spare parts, bud.